So it appears we have two Indias, one for those who have access to power and one for those who don't. On your screen are three visuals. Just a few days ago, pilgrims from Gujarat and Andhra who were stuck in Uttarakhand and Varanasi were rescued and taken in special luxury buses back to their state. GBL Narasimha Rao, BJP leader, had organized the pilgrims to return back to Telangana. UP government has rescued 3,000 students, as we said, from Kota. Now contrast this with the way laborers are going home. Many of them are walking hundreds of kilometers. These are the different images of India that I want to raise with my special guests and raise the big questions. Is this a lockdown violation that has taken place in places like Kota and indeed in Varanasi, or a rescue? Should migrants also not get buses? How true is the class bias claim? Are there two sets of rules in the lockdown in this country? Joining me now, Yogendra Yadav, National President Swaraj India; Ajay Alok, leader of the Janata Dal United; Tanveer Ahmed, leader JDS. Remember, yesterday Kumaraswamy had a wedding for his son, which allegedly violated lockdown rules. Rakesh Sinha is the Rajya Sabha MP of the BJP. And I want to start with you, Mr. Sinha, because please tell me, are there two lockdown rules in this country for those who have access to power, those who have influence, and those who don't? Why should one person have to walk 500 kilometers to reach their home while others get buses and in times luxury buses, as with the pilgrims for Gujarat and Telangana?
Rajdeep, as we know, this is a very unusual and complex situation the entire world is facing. India is no exception. In that situation, everyone has to work in such a way that everything should pass in a very smooth way. And the biggest challenge before us is migrant workers. I agree that they are the biggest sufferer, and it is my privilege to say that. I raised 4 questions in the Rajya Sabha during my 18 months tenure on migrant workers and a special mention. And I am happy to say that this is the government which for the first time had taken action. I am not talking this situation.
No, let's talk about this situation, sir. I'm sorry. I appreciate that you've raised the issue. I'm talking about this situation. Why are you not having point-to-point train or bus services for them, but you can have it for pilgrims who are stuck in Uttarakhand?
Sir, I am coming, just let me complete.
Sure.
The government is creating 300 clusters under Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee's name. That cluster is a mission cluster to reduce the migration. Here is the question that where there are 100 million migrant workers in this country, and here the government, irrespective of some government may be proactive, some government may not be proactive. There are some complaints, and there are thousands of complaints I am getting, and we are doing. I have done personally thousands of workers, Chennai, Bangalore, in Jawaharlal Nehru University, they are trapped. So individual level, social cultural organization, government are doing. So this is not the time of blame game. Those students who have gone to their respective states, they are not from the family of the millionaire and billionaire. So don't create a class divide among them. They are also from the common families, lower class families, middle class families.
Why can you not provide the same facilities? Sir, you answer my question. Why can you not provide the same facilities that are provided to pilgrims? I will ask this one last time to you. You're not answering that. Why are there different rules then? I agree with you that students deserve to go back.
Union government is doing the best because they are the children. They are the 10th class, 11th class, 12th class children. Today I tweeted Nitish ji and Sushil ji, they just talked to the Rajasthan government. At least Rajasthan's chief minister should come and say their statement that students are safe, they are getting food, there is a healthy atmosphere. That is not coming. That is the reason for concern of the parents.
What about pilgrims? What about the Gujarat pilgrims who are stuck in Uttarakhand? What about the Telangana, Andhra pilgrims stuck in Varanasi? Why special facilities for them? Then you have the same facilities for migrants.
I am coming to the situation. No, you know, the government is concentrating, irrespective of the ideology and political parties, all the states, whether it is ruled by the BJP, Congress, and the particular central government. Maximum focus is on migrant workers. You are not seeing the positive aspect that everyone is trying. Religious organizations, individual basis, social organizations, including RSS, more than 5 lakh workers are involved. We are reaching to the home to home. It is the government and the people.
Okay,
this is the people's war. This is not the war
I take your point.
by the government.
I
so
take your
kindly
point,
don't
sir.
divide the people at
I
this
don't want
juncture.
to divide the
Don't
people.
create
I
a
am not dividing the
don't
people,
create
sir.
a situation
Okay.
where people should feel that discriminated.
Yogendra Yadav, respond.
Don't create a situation where people should feel discriminated.
Okay, Yogendra Yadav,
I'm
respond. According to
absolutely
Rakesh Sinha,
astonished
there
to
is no
hear
class
this.
battle here. Go ahead.
I'm astonished to hear that here is a government that allows people. I agree, they were not millionaires or billionaires, but they could actually run a campaign on social media. We want to go back home. They ran the campaign. Their parents are ones who can pick a phone, speak to someone important. They are not VVIPs, but they belong to the middle class, which in India controls a lot of things, including the media. So they can get away. I'm afraid I did not hear any I did not hear any refutation of the point about tourists from Uttarakhand, pilgrims from Banaras, students from Kota getting a treatment, and then Rajdeep Sardesai is responsible for creating discrimination. I'm absolutely amazed. I mean, this must be Mr. Rakesh Sinha must get special things for creating a new kind of logic in this country. You create discrimination, and someone who talks about is the person responsible for discrimination. I must say, Rajdeep, I actually support what the UP government has done for students of Kota. I do think these children should be brought home. I actually salute the fact that the children were not even charged fee. They were not charged fare. But I wonder, why is it that the same thing was not done in Ghaziabad? When thousands of workers were going through buses, they actually had to pay. We have receipts of UP Transport Nigam to show how much they had to pay for that.
Yogendra Yadav, let's be clear. A couple of weeks ago, some of the migrants were allowed to come. UP government did send buses to the border to take back migrants at least a couple of weeks ago.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Rajdeep. When that happened, the workers actually had to pay fare. So the poorest of poor worker has to pay fare to the UP Transport Nigam, and the students from Kota do not have to pay.
UP government claims it was free. Yogendra Yadav, UP government claims it was free.
They were, you would remember, they were
Who said? No,
Rakesh Sinha, no debate. Rakesh Sinha, 1 minute, sir.
Media. And receipt were actually circulated with photographs on the social media.
I am really surprised that Yogendra Yadav is giving a false and fake information on TV channel.
Okay.
Nobody was charged. Mr. Yadav, nobody was charged. UP government has managed 400 buses. 400. Please don't do at this juncture such thing which divide the people.
Rakesh Sinha, one by one. Rakesh Sinha, I am the anchor. I will handle it. In Corona times, we don't have noisy debates. I will handle him. You have made your point. I am also raising the same.
No, he is saying that
Professor Sinha, I am asking the same thing to Professor Yadav. Just a minute.
To listen such a wrong information.
Sir, I am there to correct
400 buses have been managed for the migrant workers. Nobody was charged a single paisa.
Okay.
Who said that money was charged for the migrant workers?
Okay.
Who says? From where this information came?
Okay,
I'm very surprised. Such information and what your Swaraj organization is doing for the migrant workers. Instead of doing some constructive work, you are blaming the government and trying to create a situation.
Okay, Rakesh Sinha, you've now made your point.
17, 16,
Rakesh Sinha, you have made your point. I gave you ample time. There was no crosstalk when you spoke. Yogendra Yadav, respond to that. Let's look at the larger question, Yogendra Yadav. Are you suggesting that there is a class divide when it comes to lockdown 2.0, that some people get benefits which others do? Would you start point-to-point train services, for example, for migrants stuck in Mumbai?
Rajdeep, I will have to respond to two small things that Mr. Sinha has said, because I clearly has hit him very hard, because he has nothing to defend today. Number one, what is Swaraj doing? Sir, all Swaraj people are doing relief work for the last 24 days. If you want any proof, please come to me and please contribute something to our effort. We really need money. I'm sure you are an MP, you have some money to spare. Number two, about the receipts, about the fact that some of the migrants were charged. There were tickets. I'm sure I will dig it up from social media. I will put that post. The clear receipts were used on social media to show that some migrants were charged.
Right.
Now come to the real issue. The real issue is about discrimination. And I think not just one government or another government. we as a country stand completely exposed today, because the fact is that in this country there are two rules, and the biggest crime in this country is to be poor. And that is something we have witnessed. We are concerned about children from Kota. I'm concerned about them. But were these not children who were walking with their parents for hundreds of kilometers? Do they not look like our children? That is the point we should be thinking about. This is blatant discrimination, and I'm astonished to see that we can even debate something like this. As a nation, we should hang our head in shame.
Let me come for a moment to Ajay Alok, because the fact is the Yogi Adityanath government did move swiftly to work with the Rajasthan government to get the students, many of whom say they had run out of money in Kota. Many of them do not come from millionaire, billionaire families, and therefore they have been brought back to Lucknow. The Bihar government, on the other hand, says, nahi, lockdown hai, we will not bring these students back. Many of them are from Bihar. Are you telling me that the Bihar government does not want any students or anyone, whether it's a migrant or a student, to in any form violate the lockdown rules, even if there are humanitarian issues involved?
Well, Rajdeep, let me start with doing two wrong things does not mean that you have done a right thing. Two wrongs does not make a right. When Honorable Prime Minister announced the first lockdown, he very clearly said that please treat this as a curfew. Jo jahan hai, wahi rahe. And this lockdown was not done for any fun. It was a tough decision, and it was taken with keeping in mind with all the dire consequences the lockdown has on the nation. Because we had to defeat the corona. Now, the very purpose of lockdown 1 was defeated when Mr. Arvind Kejriwal packed hordes of migrants and put them on Ghaziabad border. And the second wrong was done that instead of arranging them there only on the UP border in different districts, putting them into quarantine for 14 days, 182,000 migrant Bihar workers have been sent to Bihar. That was wrongly done. What we did in 12 hours, we arranged for camps. We just made all the arrangements so that they can stay there. We quarantined them for 14 days, tested them, and then after 14 days, we sent back to the home. This is the way to do the things. Now, the second thing happening, you are saying that you are doing a rescue. You are getting the children back and people are welcoming it. Well, what kind of a rescue it is? Where you are sending 300 buses and 20 buses and 30 buses and you are doing rescue? Are they in 300 buses? How many students can you get back? Only 600 or 700? Do you mean to say that only 600 or 700 students of UP studies in Kota? No. I mean, this is complete mockery of a lockdown. Today,
so you're saying this has been done under social media pressure. You're saying the students.
I'm coming to it. Today, the Deputy Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh made a statement on a channel that there was undue pressure on the Chief Minister and over pressure on the Chief Minister to get the student back. And I don't understand, if a government cannot sustain pressure and if a government acts under pressure, what kind of governance is going to give? So they are flatly defying the Prime Minister's call. Lockdown 2, he said, has to be more effective than lockdown 1 in order to defeat COVID. Is this how we are going to follow the Prime Minister?
So you're saying that these are all violations of the lockdown and there can be no violations, zero tolerance for any violations. Am I correct? You're saying whether it's a migrant labor, a student, a pilgrim, a tourist, no one can be allowed any facilities. Everyone stays where they are. Am I correct? Even if I run out of money, as the students claim they have.
If they have run out of the money, they should have taken the local administration should have helped them. Every state government, local administration is very much functional in every state. That's what I believe. And secondly, I'll not say this is a violation. This is a mockery of lockdown. And if this has to happen, then let's do one thing. I have a suggestion for that. Yes. Let's ease for 3 days. Run the trains, run everything. Let all the people get back to their house and then start the lockdown.
Okay, I mean, that is a question over the original lockdown, which, remember, there was only 4 hours given between the Prime Minister's speech and before the lockdown was actually implemented. Other countries, including South Africa, had a 3-day period where people were allowed there for some time before they could move. Public transport was allowed for 3 days and therefore they could go back to their homes. But that is about South Africa. I just want to slightly divert and digress for a moment, because there are various aspects to this concept of a class divide and the VVIP culture. And one of them, Tanveer Ahmed, is what happened in your home state yesterday, where your party leader and the former Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy had a wedding for his son. Today, Yadurappa, the Chief Minister, said there were no violations. But we clearly saw a large gathering, over 100 people. We saw no masks being used, no concept of social distancing. Please tell me that when it comes to VVIPs, you seem to have different rules. If I wanted to get my children married during a lockdown, I wouldn't be allowed this kind of permissions for a convoy to go and to Ramnagara and get the wedding done. Different rules.
Rajdeep, firstly, let me answer your questions one by one. There were only 60 people, and all the rules were followed. And the Honorable Chief Minister of Karnataka, principal opposition party to us, has clearly said that there was absolutely no violation done. And second thing, violation was when we had planned a wedding of 15 lakh people and came down to only 60 people. Everybody was sanitized, and every measures which WHO guidelines were given, that was absolutely followed.
No, one of them is masks. Masks are mandatory. I don't see anyone there wearing masks.
Masks is not mandatory. It's prescribed. It is not mandatory. But all the workers who were there working out, they were definitely wearing masks. If you want, I would send across the picture. But here the bigger issue is the failure of the current government is trying to really find loopholes. Mr. Rakesh Sinha's intentions are very clear, but their actions are absolutely no free from politics. When they fail, they want to blame it on Kumaraswamy. When they fail, they want to right now I see Ajay Alok and Mr. Narendra Modi seem to be parting their ways. It really shows the mockery of the system when Narendra Modi and the government had absolutely planned nothing when this lockdown 1 and 2 was really planned.
Let's be specific. My limited point is, are there different rules? Tanveer Ahmed, if a person in Mumbai wants to hold a wedding today, he or she will not be allowed to hold the kind of wedding given free curfew passes in the manner that the former Prime Minister and your former Chief Minister's aides and others got it for this wedding. Nobody is saying you don't get married during a lockdown, but if you get married during a lockdown, you get benefits that an average person doesn't. That's the nature of this country. It's a VVIP culture.
Rajdeep, there was absolutely nothing which was a VVIP culture. The letter was given to the district administration, to the Chief Minister's office, to the police. Every law, every thing what the guidelines of state government was absolutely followed. Hence, the Chief Minister had to come today, openly do it in a press conference and say there was absolutely no violation.
The Chief Minister himself is accused, Mr. Yadurappa, of attending a large gathering about a month ago. We saw during the Kalburgi festival how large crowds had gathered in Karnataka. One of your Tumkur MLA's leader there had a huge birthday bash. In Karnataka, it appears everyone has different rules. When you're a VVIP, you get away, Mr. Ahmed. That is the tragedy.
Unfortunately, no. Mr. Ashwath Narayan, yesterday, the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister said that he's going to form an inquiry committee. We would really welcome it. If there are any lockdown violation which is done, let the law take its own course. Okay. We are absolutely ready to face the music.
I want to ask you, Rakesh Sinha, and I think this was a question that both Ajay Alok and Yogendra Yadav raised, that media pressure. There are certain groups who have influence over the media. Students can start social media campaigns. Tourists, many of them from Gujarat. I am told that Amit Shah ji, Home Minister of the country, made an exception. GVL Narasimha Rao, influential BJP MP spokesperson, got the pilgrims who are stuck in Varanasi to come back to Andhra, Telangana. To that extent, you know better than most. VVIP culture chalta hai sir is desh mein. That is the reality.
Look, before coming to that, I have to answer Mr. Yogendra Yadav. I was the first MP to donate my 1 month's salary, and most of the MPs of my party have donated one month's salary, and Prime Minister has taken a very exemplary decision. This government has taken the very exemplary decision by reducing the salary of Member of Parliament 30%. Despite that, the salary of Member of Parliament is lesser than the salaries of many assembly members, whether it is Delhi, Punjab or other states. This is exemplary decision I think everyone should follow. And I'm also happy that Swaraj is doing some work, and that's my intention was not to question you. My intention was that this is the time when individuals' rationality and social rationality becomes one. when individuals' consciousness and social consciousness becomes one.
So this is also
Here
a time when a
this is the
migrant
occasion
worker, or
where
I don't even want to use the term, when someone who's poor, underclass, deserves the same benefits as a middle class or a luxury person. We send planes to pick up students who are stuck in America or London.
Rajdeep Sardesai, entire nation is concentrating only on the migrant workers.
No,
entire
sir.
nation.
They are the ones who are suffering. Which entire nation? Which entire nation is concentrating on migrant workers? Which entire
workers
nation?
are under focus. And everybody at the social level, at the political level, even the industrialists are helping the migrant workers.
They are not.
Those people who
many of them are sacking their daily laborers. Their honesty, they are sacking their daily laborers.
Modi government has taken the lead, and the entire world is praising Modi government that he has created a situation that India is far ahead from other states. Here the death rates and the
migrant worker issue. I showed you a story of a young couple is walking 500 kilometers in Arunachal.
Migrant workers. The pain of the migrant workers is the pain of the government, and the central government is taking all these steps. Money is being transferred to them. The food is
they should get universal public distribution.
Government and every government. Suppose. I'm giving one example. In Delhi, I got the list of more than 300 workers, and the foods were sent. I'm not criticizing the Delhi Aam Aadmi Party government, because I know that in such a situation there may be some omission and commission. In that situation, instead of attacking Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal, I have to do my work. I also know that how the migrant workers reached to the Delhi UP border. Who were responsible? Who created rumors? Who managed the buses for them to reach the border? But this is not the time for allegation and counter allegation. This is the time we have to go with Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
I agree. Can I ask you a direct yes or no question, sir?
He's doing the best work for the migrant workers.
You are saying you have worked for the migrants
and the farmers.
Sir, I will ask you a direct question now. I am simply asking a question. If there are tourists stuck in Uttarakhand, do they get to go back to Gujarat because they have influence with the Gujarat government? Should the same rules not apply to migrants who are stuck in Mumbai, who say we also want to go back, yes or no?
You know, the number of migrant workers is far larger than you are comparing with the Kota students whose age is 15 years, 16 years, 17 years. And these migrant workers are staying in Mumbai, Delhi and other places. They are in really distress. It is time to share their distress, share their pain. And in this lockdown, you cannot arrange for 5 lakh, 10 lakh migrant workers to go there. In particular,
so if you share their pain, you should universalize the public distribution system. If you share their pain, today many of them will not get ration unless they have a ration card.
Kindly,
give them a universal
this is not
PDS.
An issue. Rajdeep Sardesai, this is not an issue. The issue is that migrant workers are being facilitated or not, whether they are being facilitated or not. And in most of the cases, there may be omission and commission. In most of the cases, the central government is doing their best.
Okay.
All the state governments are doing their best.
You're saying you're doing your best. You made your point now. Let Yogendra Yadav respond.
We should not create a situation.
No, I don't want anyone. You made your point. Yes, Yogendra Yadav. Yogendra, just a minute. Rakesh Sinha is saying you cannot compare the thousands and thousands of migrants in our urban areas with, let's say, a handful of tourists or pilgrims, or indeed a few thousand students.
The simple question is, are we attending even to the handful of migrants who are stuck in utterly conditions which are inhuman? Even those are not being attended to. Rajdeep, if the entire nation and all the governments are standing with migrant labor, and if this is the response that we have managed, then as a nation, we should stop talking about 21st century. We should stop talking about 5 trillion economy. We should just hang our head in shame. 2 days ago, there was a report based on 11,500 migrants who are stranded in different parts. The report showed that only 11% of them had got any salary or wages from their employee, 89% had not, that 50% of them had ration left only for 1 day, that only 4% of them had benefited from the state ration, that only 30% of them had got any cooked food from anyone, including the NGOs. If this is our performance as a nation, we should hang our head in shame. And if the governments are so responsible, why don't they implement the two simple suggestions that every expert says? Now, both the Nobel Prize awardees from India on economics, Amartya Sen and Abhijit Banerjee, they have endorsed what some of us have been saying for days and days. Two simple measures would require two notifications from central government, not from state government. Number one, give free ration to even those who do not have a ration card.
Right.
There are mechanisms for that. Number two, please open community kitchen, langar in the schools which used to offer midday meal to students. These two things can be decided by the central government. Central government cannot invoke National Disaster Management Act, say we will decide when it is a disaster, and then say it's for the state governments to solve the problems. No, sir, that's not how it is done.
Let's leave
and
it.
Yes, I really like the suggestion about 3 days notice being given. It should have been given. Just one thing, Rajdeep. In the meanwhile, I've done my small research. On NewsClick on 30th of March, you would find a report which says UP jobless poor migrant workers charged double fare on their way home. So I was wrong. They were not charged fare. They were charged double fare.
I want to say the UP government has denied those reports, so we will continue to focus. We will find out more about that. For now, what is very clear is that there are different rules in this country. And the migrants, whether we like it or not, do not have that kind of influence that those who are from middle class or indeed affluent families have. I appreciate all my guests joining me. You've been very patient. Thank you all very much for joining me and giving us your respective perspectives. And I leave it to you, the viewers, to decide who should get the benefits of transport in a lockdown.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.